vibes tonight. Voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air. Changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat. Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see. Black Power Media on the spree. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned. Breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics. Every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true. For the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Stay strong on the bridge tonight. We got dreams and we got fight. Voices loud in the city's light. Change is coming into sight. History told by scars and pain. Echoes deep in every name. Legal truths we must reclaim. Through the storm and through the rain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K. Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah. Justice calls from open skies. Tears that fall, ain't no disguise. Marching forward, no surprise. Strength in hearts you can't downsize. Every voice a sweet refrain. In this fight we share the strain. Through the joy and through the pain. Bound together like a chain. Thorough black talk review. With Brother Tad, Sister K. Sister Marcia, Brother Blacksmith. Cut the check or no vote, yeah.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your Sister K Fighter, Brother Tad, Sister Marcia, and Brother Blacksmith will be joining us shortly up on the Brooklyn Bridge. A lot is going on, family. A lot is going on. I'm telling you. We're going to get into it. The Essence Festival flop. I saw that coming. You got to deal with Zoran Mondami, whatever the hell his name is. Andrew Cuomo. You got to deal with the sanitation strike in Philadelphia. Holding the line. Got to talk about what's going on, too, in Texas. More persons have been found. It's just crazy. But we're going to get into all of that as well. Your president, Donald Trump, hosted 6 African leaders at the White House, if you will. We gonna get into that. Man, oh man, oh man. Also, I got some interesting things that I think that y'all want to know about, because the way things are moving, we're gonna have to make some serious moves around here. And so, I've been talking with some folks, and we're gonna try to make some things happen. All the way even over there in Chi-Town, trying to make things happen. Also, a sister was brutally attacked in Ridgewood, Queens, by two men, or males, if you will. But she held her own. Anyway, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into all of that. Let's get some shout outs in here. You ready, Brother Tad? Get ready, family, for the OG podcast, OG Wisdom podcast, excuse me, very own Brother Tad on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah. What else, sis? How you feeling?
What's happening? What's happening? As you say, we are blessed and highly favored.
You already
Because so many things are happening, Brother Tad. And before I move on, it wasn't me last week. It wasn't me. Stream y'all let us know that they were making some improvements and upgrades, and they've done a lot. I don't know if you've seen them, Brother Tad. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just checking it out.
I didn't even get a chance to check them all out, all these new features, but I'm going to do that over the weekend. But it wasn't me. So they sent apologies and all of that kind of good stuff. So let's get
you a discount too. Say, look,
you see what I'm saying?
There ain't no free platform, so I need a couple of months free.
Speaking of free platforms, YouTube have made some changes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
some content creators, you're gonna have to get real with it. You're gonna have to get real with it. A lot of changes beginning in 5 days on the 15th.
Yes.
So for all of you content creators and mods, y'all better read the new guidelines, because you want to inform your teams on what's happening beginning July 15th. Brother Blacksmith, you ready to rock? Welcome to BX, Brother Anunnaki, Brother Blacksmith up on the beat. And what's happening?
Hey, Sister Keisha, I'm going to start with you today instead of Brother Tad. You sound like Shaggy when you say it wasn't me.
It wasn't me. wasn't me.
I was up on the scene, young man. It wasn't me.
What's up,
Brother Tad?
Do you know that that's not his real voice? I think we talked about that here before.
Yeah.
That's not his real voice, family.
At all.
At all.
What, vocal or something?
Huh?
He was playing around, and the producer was like, "Yo, that sound good. Should do all your music like that." That's how he was just playing around.
Just fooling around, mimicking his old army sergeant.
Yes.
And he just ran with it. So
all the way to the bank.
Yeah. I wonder if the army sergeant got a cut.
Got cut out the deal.
Pretty much. His legal team is trying to push. Say that again, brother.
You sound like you starting to fade out again.
Sorry about that. But they said that, his legal team is trying to get this done rapidly, if you will. So we'll see how all of that plays out. But definitely a lot to be discussed with all of that. And I'm trying to wait until, he's released or sentenced to serve more time. We don't know. But I'm waiting before I reveal some information. Because a lot of people, and I'm talking about professionals, are wrong on the situation. And I'm going to show you legally how both parties, both prosecution and defense team, manipulated the jury, manipulated the public. And we'll get into all of that once it's all said and done, because I don't want to throw no spills no way and try to hope nobody's cases or whatever. I don't know what's happening. I don't want my name thrown in nothing. So wait till everything is done and released, and then, we're going to get into it. So, you have the Essence Festival that took place. Sister Marcia, you ready? She said, yes, ma'am. Africans on the rise, very own Sister Marcia on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, Sister Marcia? What's good?
Peace, everyone. Happy Black Tastic Thursday on this full moon Thursday. Let's get it. Get it. Get it.
Hey, sis.
So,
Hey, yeah.
uh-oh. Y'all better leave Marcia alone. She gonna go off. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm sitting here and mind my black business like I always do. You understand?
She can't see me. She ain't got no glasses on today.
Taz said I'm totally blacked out, so leave me the hell up out of anything. I don't want no smoke, no problems. But anyway, let's get some shout outs real quick before we really get into it. Sister Donna, Brother Kerwin Davis, Alabama. What's happening, family? What's good? What's good? My sister from another Mr. Brooke. What's good? What's good? Brooke be getting me riled up. In a couple of weeks, I'll be 55. So I'm trying to keep it calm. Yes, indeed. Sister Marcy, I'll be 55 in a couple of weeks.
That means you can't drive faster than that.
55? I don't drive. I get driven. Do you understand?
You don't know about luxury life. You're from the Bronx.
Telling you, boy, you try to educate these folks. You see what
On
I'm saying?
that soft life. On that soft life.
Okay, I ride the luxurious 4 train, okay?
You go right on ahead, right to the Bronx, where all the crazy is at. You go right on ahead, keep it up that way. Even on public transportation, I ride luxurious. Do I not, Brother Tag?
That's a fact.
I don't play these games.
From the Bronx. He lived by Crack Kim, Great God Allah.
Made me spit my water up through my nose.
I grew up not too far from there, but not in the same hood.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, Sister Brooke be getting me riled up. She be sending me stuff. She know I'm gonna get on it. And but we gonna get into that a little bit later. Shout out to Sister Brooke anyway. Just messing with her. Just messing. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County, what's happening? What's happening? Aruba 927, Doggy Diamond TV, Mars in the building. What's good?
Yeah.
Sister Farnessa. Reparations is on the horizon, sis. It's on the horizon.
That's Sister Anunnaki. Her reparations is on the bureau.
Speaking of which, there's some meetings that are going to be taking place pretty soon. So hopefully Sister Brooke, if she got a minute, can put all that info in the chat and I can repost it. All right? We can do that. Sister Almanac 2 in the Midwest crew. What's good? Our brother Rich Nice. What's happening? Y'all know I used to be an MC, right? I used to host Eastern Stars and Mason parties. That's why when I'm on the mic, I do that. But anyway, Brother Ray, the BK Mackey History Club. What's happening? Glad to see you with us. If you missed it, you can catch the replay anytime on the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page. Last night he hosted Dr. Arthur Lewis. I had to watch in the cut with my camera off and my mic off because I was in a place where I didn't want no noise. But anyway, great lecture. Dr. Lewis has been doing an excellent series actually on the Sahel Alliance. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely. Oh yeah, brother. You already know. So let's get into it, family. Let's get into it. You had the Essence Festival that took place 4th of July weekend. If you've ever been to the Essence Festival, put a 1 in the chat. Because some people talking and they ain't never been there. So you don't know the comparison. I've been there a few times, all right? In the early 2000s. Brother Tad been down. If you haven't been there, you really don't know what you're talking about. Now, back when they early days, My first one was in 99. So they had tents all over the place, right? Before they start putting people in arenas and all of that. And then you had your premium stages, and then you had your soft stages with up and coming artists. You had vendors and the food. Let me tell you something. If you ain't never been to New Orleans and had New Orleans food, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about what New Orleans is supposed to be about. Shh, keep it quiet till you get down there. Huh? But anyway, it's a whole vibe. As a matter of fact, New Orleans, there are 3 accents that I just love outside of my own. You know, New York. You understand? But outside of my own, New Orleans is one of them. Baltimore and South Philly is another. And the other is deep, dirty South. I'm talking about Alabama Southern. So anyway, those 3 accents I just love. So they're very distinct and very unique, if you will. So being in New Orleans and a part of that whole vibe, the Essence Festival has always been a hot spot and a go-to for Black culture in America. Now, keep in mind that one of the first, or the second, editor of Essence Magazine, Susan Taylor, you know, lady with the braids, big forehead, Susan Taylor, even though she was Trinidadian herself, y'all never knew it because she never discussed it in that way. She made sure Black American culture was highlighted. You ain't never knew her parents and all them from St. Kitts, her father, I think. You ain't know all of that, right? All about Black American culture. And it was always successful until it was sold. Now, when you buy something from someone, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. All right? So, this African brother, you know, same family who owned Shea Moisture, and they sold that, went down the tubes. They bought that from a Black American, right? They buy Essence from a Black American. Now, they can do whatever they want with it. However, what they cannot do is manipulate the content and the agenda of which you are trying to present in hopes of gaining revenue, in hopes of people are dumb enough to fall for the okie doke. And they lost. Not only were people who attended this year upset about it, but even the entertainers themselves talked about the unprofessionalism, number 1. Number 2, the integrity of Essence. And these are the words of the legend herself, Stephanie Mills. And if anybody who don't think Stephanie Mills is a legend, you need to log the hell off of this channel.
Right now.
ASAP. ASAP. So anyway, now, on top of which, there is a boycott, if you will, of Target, right? One of their number 1 sponsorships is Target, right? Which is contradictory because they say that they were boycotted because of the DEI programs were rolled back, if you will, right? Then you had what do you call it? The owner who said, the owner of Essence, that is, said that they couldn't get out of the contractual situation with Target, so they had to adhere to the contract or pay millions of dollars. All right? Okay. So, in my humble opinion, if that is the case, why not inform your reading public and your attending public of what the situation is? Then allow them to make the decision if they wanted to attend or not. They did not do that. When you claim that you purchased this entity because of the integrity of the culture that it represents, and then you co-opt it, you have a right to do that, but you should also expect that your viewership, your readership, and your attendanship to fall. So they should have expected that. If they claimed they knew who we were, they should have expected that. Because we dipped out on things, situations that are less important, right? So why not at this critical time say, well, you know, we are a new entity, although we are melanated folks, we are going to keep in line with the genetic format, if you will. I'm trying to curb my words. I want my lawyer to get on my back. Genetic format of what essence is. They didn't do that. They hoodwinked the public, and they didn't expect the backlash that they got. So the current CEO, who is of Kenyan descent, came out and sort of tried to explain, but then lambast foundational Black Americans, as if we are the only group of people who've ever attended Essence. Now, if you've ever attended Essence, you know Caribbean people win, Spanish people win, white folks, everybody go down here. So why target us? I'll tell you why. Because of the current climate. And they know better that you can't slide through things on FBA watch and we will not chastise you on that. And that's what happened. They didn't expect such big backlash, but now they're getting it. They didn't expect it from the artists who they booked. It is alleged that Lauryn Hill didn't appear on the stage till like 2:30 in the morning to a sparse crowd.
And not to her fault.
Right. Not on this one. Not on this one. You know, even Stephanie Mills said the sound systems were horrible. Horrible. And she said, I am a professional at my craft, and I don't play these kind of games in a roundabout way. That's what she said. So I agree with that. I agree with that. That's just like if I go to Belize, if Black Talk is an entity that's known to go into Belize and putting on festivals representing Belizean culture for 40 plus years. And then all of a sudden, you know, all the Belizeans, they get out, they get ready to make money. They getting the vendorships. They selling. Everybody making money in Belize. But then I come in and say, you know what, you can't vend. Or if you vend, you got to sell only this. That's not right. That's not right. And that's what they did. That's what they did. And they try to hide behind that. So people in New Orleans said, we're done. Either get it together or we're done. So they can play cleanup mode. I would. For the integrity of my business, I would. They should be on that and make a correction. Because what I'm finding is that people are coming in on entities that we may have created and we may have established and trying to co-opt it. If you don't believe me, now I wear my country hats. I wear my cowgirl hats. I listen to country music. I can ramble off at least 40 Black artists right now. Shabuzi ain't at the top. But white America tried to put him in the forefront of all of those Black Americans who have been doing this craft before his family even came here. Then they embarrassed him, and he didn't say a word. They made him put on a dress at the Met Gala. So now, in order to clean up himself, he brings in Burna Boy, and they doing a country music collabo. Folks, please stay in your lane. You have no business in country music, none whatsoever. But this is what's happening. They are co-opting culture and they're getting pushback and they don't like it. And one of the things I said, panel, many times, and we discussed it last week, I believe, the reason why movements fell, and Dr. Amos Wilson warned us of feel-good history. There was too much African feel-good history and we bypassed everything else. Because I can poll 10 people in the chat to give me 10 historical facts about Belize and you can't tell me. How do you jump from the continent of America somewhere else and put that place ahead of you? That's what's been happening. We've been allowing bad behavior to permeate for far too long. It's just like now, Brother Tad, you have some folks throughout the diaspora who say, I don't like that word tether. You didn't have a problem with coon.
Or nigga.
You ain't have a problem.
But they'll use it now.
Why do you think it's okay to do these things? But I love my family. I love my people. Everybody's getting checked. Everybody's getting checked. I'm sorry that we didn't jump on it when Dr. Claude Anderson warned us about it. We should have jumped then.
Well, some of us was on course.
If you look, Brother Tad, throughout the movement we came through, Pan-African, Black nationalists, whatever you want to call it, I have to say this. I hope I don't get in no mess. But a lot of your great scholars also made a living off of that paradigm. You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm not telling any lies. So that paradigm worked. It worked. And it infused itself into activism. That's what happened. I was there. You had activism and you had Pan-Africanism and infused itself. And it worked. But cracks began to show. People turned on each other. Organizations fell. And the reason why they did so is because there was no checklist. And you tried to make everyone a monolith. And it's going to always fail. Shout out to my brother Ashe. We were taking a road trip down to DC. And we were talking about buying up various states, counties and states that are available for sale. And Brother Ashe said, it would be great if we could all, be on one accord and think on one accord. I said, brother, I want freedom, but not to think and believe on one accord. Because that is a cult. And I want no parts of a cult. So like Brother Tad always say, he don't care who the hell you worship. Allah, Jesus, Buddha, whoever else they got out there. It don't matter. The hell letters, he said. It don't matter. That ain't his business. But when we come in activism, when we come in community, we on one accord. And that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. Case in point, I take the holiday Kwanzaa. Say messing with Kwanzaa? Let's get it. The principles of Kwanzaa. Everybody on this panel knows them, or what they are.
Nguzo Saba.
It was founded by a Black American man, was it not?
Dr. Malana Karenga.
How many of the principles are in English?
None.
Because there was an economic profitability in the movement. And I can bring point after point after point after point because I was there. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to go to the panel. What do y'all think about what's happening with Essence and some of the things that I mentioned? Sister Marcia, start with her.
Is your mic on, sis? Unmute.
Peace. So I've never been to the Essence Festival, so I can't speak about the population, the flavor and the feel of everything. But as a events manager, I definitely understand the contractual obligations that you have. You may have had a sponsor for 10 years. You've already spent that sponsorship money. That sponsorship is banked. You can't break out of a sponsorship agreement, at least not in that current year. You could break out of it and say, okay, after this year, we're no longer using you as a sponsor. We're going to remit you. Am I frozen? Can y'all hear me? We're
Yes.
going to remit you X, Y, and Z dollars as part of the sponsor dollars that were given. So that's the only part that I could speak on. Um, on other tangibles that you mentioned, it's if the feel of everything. And one thing that I do know, oh, wow, wowzers, there's a lot going on here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah,
What was that?
What you see, Sister
I'm
Marcia?
gonna let Sister Marcia do her thing, and Brother Tad, you go ahead while she fix what she gotta fix.
Oh wow, I must have missed something. Yeah. Um. Yeah. This my first time going to Essence Music Festival. I believe was in 2008 or 2009, and yeah, it was 2009, and I believe my last no 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2013. I believe I've been to the Essence Music Festival. You hit on so many points, Sister Keisha, points that I wanted to talk with you about after the show. But since you brought it up, I want to do a show about why you and I have pivoted from our previous position, from what people previously know us from, African centered and things of the likes. You
Bet.
know, I definitely want to do that show. Shout out to Dr. Sukiana. Um, I ain't trying to joke you, sis. But with the Essence Music Festival, it was a love fest, of black folks from all around the country. Um, I met a lot of dope people, a lot of nice people. Kayla's mom actually was one of the big wigs at Time Inc. years ago, which is the parent company to Essence Music Festival. So we used to get there, backstage passes, royal treatment, red carpet rolled out when we pulled up, and she still goes. She tries to get me to promote my business there. I told her I will, and the time may be coming in the future, but I move when the spirit tells me to move. But the Music Festival has always been about the black experience. Caribbeans have been there, Africans been there, like you said, people of all nationalities have been there. And I don't know, it's because we lost Frankie Beverly this year, coupled with people trying to have this shift on what the show should be about, but it was pretty much always a black love fest. I think what it is New Yorkers, we live in a bubble. And somebody told me this years ago, a sister from Detroit, she said, all y'all New Yorkers live in a bubble. Y'all got this kumbaya idea because all y'all live in close proximity, but the rest of America don't operate like that. So what do I mean by that? You want to have Jollof versus jambalaya rice, when most people in the South never even had Jollof rice. We have Jollof rice because we in close proximity to continental Africans. But even when you peel back the layers, continental Africans don't really rock tight with each other if they're not from the same country. You don't see Senegalese with people from Ghana and Nigeria or any other country or the Sudan and things like that. They don't have that thing that we created in our mind as black folks. And I say that because as black folks who are stripped of so much, all this misinformation prior, because remember, we Gen X. We Gen X. The generation prior to that didn't have access to information like we do. We did a lot of libraries. We did a lot of lectures. We had VHS tapes and all of these things. We went to the lectures. We did the research and study. And then we were still young adults in our 20s, maybe early 30s, when everybody got AOL. So it made that thirst for knowledge a lot easier. So we was getting all the information. We knew exactly what to look up while everybody else was playing on the internet looking for old friends and foolishness. We were looking for the information and we were constantly peeling back the layers. And to what Sister Keisha said, it's been a money grab. A lot of ideas and ideologies have been money grabs. No different than Nation of Islam, Christianity, Orthodox Muslims, Moors, everybody, all of these quote unquote pro black organizations are always trying to recruit people. For what? For the purpose of building the membership and getting more monies in, whether it's tithes or membership dues or anything like that. They want you to join them. They don't accept you for who you are. They want to convert you. And that's been a problem I've always had. Because, like Sister Keisha said, me, Brother Tad, I don't care what you worship. When we come outside, we got one assignment, one mission, one goal. Whatever the problem is, we're going to attack it in unison. We're going to attack it as a group. I'm going to pass the mic back to Marcia real quick, but I just want to say these things. I want to go back to Essence Music Festival later. But Sister Keisha, you hit on so many points because as black folks in America, they try to paint us as a monolith. They try to make us either politicized or cultural. And we got to remember when Malana Karanga and the Black Panther Party had their beef, it was over ideologies because the Black Panther Party was not a cultural organization. They were political. The US organization, they were cultural, not political. And they were trying to get every black person to see things their way. I don't want all black people to see things my way because I don't know everything. So if you think like me, I'm missing something, chances are so are you. But if you got your own thoughts and ideas, you could be the eyes that's in back of me. So I don't need you to see things like I see it. I need you to see it like you see it. We come to the table, we hash these things out, and then come up with a formidable strategy to defeat whatever problem we have ahead of us. But what's happening now, the problem we have is too many people have invested their life's work and their money into a particular ideology. And even when you present them with new information, they suffer from cognitive dissonance. They'll tell everybody else you're suffering from cognitive dissonance, but it's them. Because when they denounce their own family history, bloodline, lineage, when they honor foreign ancestors and not their own that is buried in this soil, that told you from their own mouth that we are from here. That was my grandmother and my great grandmother told me that we are from here. And me and Dog always laugh. We say, yo, in the beginning, we tried to debate them because of the quote unquote new information we was getting from Dr. this and Dr. that and Dr. Bookaloo and whoever else had a DR in front of their name or a minister. But then as time goes on, you find yourself venerating foreign ancestors when you don't even honor thy mother and father who is in your presence. You don't honor your grandparents and your great grandparents. Sister Keisha had me reading Black Indians, and they were talking about Roanoke, North Carolina. And I always thought that was ironic because my grandmother's from Roanoke, North Carolina. And my grandmother used to always say, who said I was black? But in that paradigm, right, Sister Keisha, we got to remember, my grandmother's 80-something years old. Black people started calling themselves black in the 60s, I believe, when James Brown was like black and proud. My grandmother's around years before that. Years before that. I believe my grandmother was born in 1930-something, early 30s. 1936, as a matter of fact, my grandmother was born. So in the 60s, she was 30-something years old. So she done spent most of her life not subscribing to black. You know, definitely not subscribing to African American, which came what in the 70s. All of these identity politics that's been forced on us, we in our own arrogance and ignorance denounce what our personal blood, because my grandmother's still here, still alive and kicking, so she's not even an ancestor yet. We were denying what she said to take the word of some people we don't know because they supposedly have been well traveled. But to your point, this is all a money grab because I sat with master teachers. Brother Tad, I sat with master teachers. Show me how many master teachers are literally unified in this paradigm of African-centered thought. They say that.
Oh,
But
drop the mic. Drop
hold on, sis. I'm just warming up because we're going to say this for the show. But How many African-centered teachers do you see unified, sitting at the table, coming together to bring us a new paradigm of moving forward? I was talking to my brother Clico earlier, shout out to him. And I was reminding him, because I went to Dr. Ben's funeral. I don't know how many people went to Dr. Ben's funeral, but Reverend Calvin Butt says some profound shit. Bust a shot in the audience. Stood over Dr. Ben's body and said, here lies a man spent his life's work trying to denounce Christianity, but where do y'all have to have his funeral? Because for those who don't know, it's at Riverside Church up in Harlem. Oh, it was at Riverside or Abyssinian? Abyssinian. It was at Abyssinian. And I was like, damn, that's a shot. But it's real. And how many African-centered teachers / scholars went back to the drawing board and said, yo, he just punched us in the gut at our beloved elder, now ancestor's funeral. We do got to get our shit together. Why we don't have no place to do all of these great things? Maybe we can holler at Dr. Sukiyana and rent out some space at the FDMG Academy. I don't know. But my point is, I left the movement. I came into the movement with Dr. Khaled in 1997. I left in like 99 or something because I saw a lot of things I didn't like. I was young. I was in my 20s. And I used to just sit there quiet and keep my mouth shut. Came back in the movement later in the 2000s, and I seen ain't a goddamn thing change. I seen a constipated movement. And I'm going to say this. I've met some of the most beautiful black people within the movement. Some good, well-intentioned, well-hearted people in the movement. I'd be a liar if I didn't say there were some good, genuine people. But then I knew Dr. Sukiyana. I knew Sucker Polite. Stood around a lot of these charlatans that the people were financing, leading us down the long road. Sucker Polite had people paying for sovereignty, buying these fake statuses. And so the young Pharaoh, he don't get off the hook neither. Dr. Sukiyana had people giving their last money, believing in his delusional dream of opening a school. Meanwhile, you had still good meaning elders like Walima Baruti, who has an institution established. Marcus Klein, who has an institution established. I said, our people are not serious. Not only do we not fund, but we don't even bring notoriety to the people who's really doing work. Shit, you had Queen Mother Mama, what's her name? Sankofa Academy, Ali McLean, the Sankofa Academy. Where was our support? We like this sensationalism. And then when people like me and Sister Keisha, who people know us to be in the movement, when we do real search, real diligent study, when we study our own heritage and bloodline and see the mistreatment we get from the people that we upholding, we have a paradigm shift. Say, hold up. I'm African this, I'm African that. But how many continental Africans are in our organizations? Because I know Nigerian organizations call themselves Nigerians. This ain't for the Ghanaians. This ain't people from Eritrea. This ain't for Ugandans. This is strictly for Nigerians. Same thing with the Senegalese. And there's nothing wrong with looking out for your people. But black people in America, we've always been on the outskirts. And everything that we created has been tainted or destroyed. All of our movements, whether it's the civil rights movement, I'm not even counting Black Lives Matter, but everything we do, everybody wants to attach themselves to us, use us as Operation Human Shield. We get in the front line, we get our ass kicked, and then when the spoils go out, everybody else got their hands out. In fact, that's what they did with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was actually a catchy slogan. It wasn't an organization. Rest in peace to our brother Darren Shields, and shout out to our brother Chris Seltzer, who were down there literally doing the work, who we had on our platforms, who I had the privilege of meeting our brother Darren Shields. And he said he don't rock with Black Lives Matter, but he was an activist in the community and was very close with Michael Brown's mother and father. You know, these are real. We were on the ground boots people, right, Sister Keisha? But a lot of people confusing culturalism with activism. Activism gets you the results. You got to get active in this thing. You just can't cite books and say, well, Dr. Ben and Dr. Amos said, and you got all this knowledge and information and it's not applicable. That makes you an armchair revolutionary or a keyboard revolutionary now in the internet age. But we got to start dismissing this bullshit and we really got to call it out. And the one thing me and Sister Keisha said when we did the code of conduct presentation with our brother King Simon, we said, just don't honor ancestors you don't know. Honor the ancestors in your family. Talk with the elders in your family. Get to know who your people are. And black people are doing that. We're delineating. We saying, you know what? Enough of this bullshit. We running around with dashikis, big unks, wooden masks, and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got my Jinyami up on the wall. I got my mask from Ghana up on my wall. All that is beautiful. It's beautiful art. I love all the expressions of blackness. However, I'm not going to minimize my blackness to celebrate anybody else's. So when we talk about the Essence Music Festival, if you haven't been to the Essence Music Festival, it's a love fest because you get to meet black people from all over the country, from deep down in the South to way up north and Canada and the New England states and out from Texas and California, and we all come together. We all two-step to Frankie Beverly and Maze when he closed the show at the last day when you got to show up with white. You get to meet your family, your countrymen, your kinfolk, not people just from the Caribbean, because regardless to what, continental Africans and Caribbeans is still our family. You the cousins though. You the cousins. You live in a separate house. You live down the block around the corner. You may live up in the Bronx like Brother Black, but you're still my family and I still love you. But the thing is, when us as Black Americans are getting our house in order, we don't need the disrespect of you talking shit, getting on the phone with grandma, talk about, yeah, Tad think he better than everybody because he getting his kitchen remodeled and doing it, that, and the third. Because my family is growing. My family is growing, and no longer are we allowing your drunk ass mama to come over and fuck up the party. Yeah, so we family. I love y'all. But please let us get our house in order. Because look, Sister Keisha, everybody was getting upset when black folks ain't jump out there for the migrations of the Mexicans. Stop looking for us. What's the other thing they had? A couple of months ago. What was that? June 6th or some other May 6th or some shit? When it was like everybody protested. We want no, because we learned our lessons fucking with all y'all. We learned our lessons from the civil rights movement. We learned our lessons from the Civil War. We learned our lessons. Every time we try to help somebody thinking they gonna help us out, y'all give us the short end of the stick. So we not going for it no more. And it goes for my Pan-African brothers and sisters. I still love y'all. Y'all on the wrong side of history right now because ain't nobody going back to Africa. Everybody got their goddamn passports, but ain't nobody left yet. Go back. Go back. Ain't nothing stopping you. I done made 4 trips. And one day I will share. I shared the story with Sister Keisha about my experience in Africa. Beautiful place. I encourage everybody to go visit. Go see the dungeons. Go see the door of no return. But be mindful. And I don't know if it's because I'm from Brooklyn, sis, that I watched the scheme and the hustle. But they damn sure gonna try to hustle you. What's the difference in them hustling you on the homeland or hustling you on Canal Street with them knockoff bags? I'm just saying, we gotta be mindful. FBA is here to stay. We've been here. All these pro-blacks want to talk about, yeah, the black man invented the stoplight. He made the gas mask. He made the internet. But say black Americans. Then. Talk about our contribution to the world. Don't try to minimize me because you bought into the idea that all black people here was brought over here as slaves and we're subhuman. That's westernized ideology, thinking that black Americans is less than. I saw a video where some Caribbean and continental women was laughing at a sister because she was American. They're like, where are you from? This is at the Essence Music Festival. Where are you from? She said, I'm from here. Oh, you just black American. What do you mean just? Just. Garvey told you we the shit. We the ones with no peers. We're the one who really built institutions in the midst of white supremacy, in the most hostile environments you can imagine. We built institutions. We built communities. We built shit here. that other people still want to benefit from. And then there's more. But I yield my time because I could go on. Sister Marcia, Brother Black, unmute yourselves. Hold on, let me give myself a round of applause.
Tag gonna make me kill myself over here. I'm telling y'all right now.
Now, I ain't even here back for last, so I'm gonna save it for when we talk about why we fell back from the conscious community slash from all of that. And we
all the way back.
in real rap, we encourage y'all to get your questions, personal questions, ask us really what happened. I know for me, a lot of things I'm not gonna really hold back on, but then some people I'm not gonna put them on blast because, like I said, I've met some beautiful, beautiful people, and I'd be lying if I said anything different. But beautiful people could be misinformed as well, as I once was about a lot of things, you know. But that's it.
When it sound good, man, I get in the listening mood, bro.
No, Sister Brooke, I gotta keep you out of jail over here. Don't even talk about the continent right now.
So hold on, sis, let me tell Sister Brooke. Let me tell Sister Brooke something. I don't think I can handle the dungeons emotionally. Y'all would have to carry me out. I'd be crying, bawling, feeling all that pain in the room. I'm an empath. Sister Brooke, you want to know something funny? I normally take groups over there, right? Somebody asked one of the tour guides, said, do people get upset when they come here? The tour guide said no. He said the only people that get mad when they come here are Black Americans. Caribbeans don't get mad.
Pause. Pause.
Yeah.
Full stop on the gas.
Mm-hmm.
You said that he said the only people who show emotion like that is Black American.
That's what he said. I don't know if he lying to me or not. In fact, I got it recorded somewhere.
Okay.
Got it.
Hopefully you'll be able to find it.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, but
I'm gonna find it. It may be in my group.
Because if let's say what he said is true, right? Let's go with it. That's true. That also, coincides with we here have uplifted Africa more than anybody else.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
But I'm just saying, but go ahead.
No, because what Sister Brooke said was real because it is emotional. Because they put us in there, they cut out the lights, you get the feel of it. But I'll say this also, it's all based on your perspective on how you view life. See, one thing we got to realize, everything is a mindset. Everything, how we operate, how we decide, how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, it's all a mindset based on our information. And I say that, right, Sister Keisha? Because for some people, they go and they look at themselves as victimized people. Victims. I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. Because now, from my mother's father's bloodline is from the continent. My mother's bloodline is from the soil, from the U.S. Ma, Anna Lewis, was a Native American, registered Native American. Me and Doggy did that with pictures and everything a few months back. You could go on Doggy Diamond's channel and check it out. Me and him just talking about our family bloodline, showing pictures of our ancestors. I posted on YouTube all my Black American, my father's father's bloodline, going back to the 1800s. All the men, all the way down. And you know what I realized is crazy, Sister Keisha? Out of all the men for hundreds of years, I'm the only one who's never been married. I'm gonna have to change that. All of the men were married. Never had a missing father, nowhere, no kinks in the armor, flies in the face of Black men not taking care of their children. All of the things that we're told.
Family too.
I'm sorry?
Same in our family too. And you can't break the line. So we gotta hurry up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this real quick back to Sister Brooke about going there. I encourage everybody to go there at least once in their life. Travel the rest of the world. But you have to see the dungeons. And you have to have your own experience to feel the weather, smell the air, taste the food, engage with the people, and just be mindful and pay attention. Because money makes the world go round. Don't let nobody ever tell you different. Don't take a pledge of poverty like some of these pro-black people have you do, have you cursing money in your finances, and you wonder why you broke. They tell you freedom ain't free. They tell you money don't mean nothing, but then they want yours, but then they don't want you to go get none. The contradictions. But I'm off my soapbox. Go at least once.
And then they go open up a school.
Or at least act like they do. Or at least act like they do. She said, "You gonna carry
We got you get it.
grandma funeral." No,
Sister Brooke, we gonna make sure you take your carry shells with you.
Sister Keisha, get Sister Brooke on this show so she could say something.
She know what I'm talking about. She know what I'm talking about. Go ahead, I want to go to the chat. Sister Marcia said no. I want to go to the chat because y'all said some crazy things in here, but some real things, for real. Now, right here, Brother Dwight, he said Africa is a continent with 52 nations, but we only know about 5 nations. Egypt holds the pyramids, South Africa holds our resources, Nigeria holds great potential, Ghana holds the history of slavery. True indeed.
that's about right.
True indeed. But also, because, we getting y'all ready for me. When me and Brother Tag go in, we gonna go all the way in. Okay?
Let me say this real quick, y'all. Real quick. A lot of people, Tad, and you said it, and it even took me a while. I ain't gonna lie about it, because remember, I lived in Ghana. But a lot of people can't let go that we not all African Americans I'm talking about now. And right. Some Caribbeans and other blacks from other places. Some people just can't let that go. Or if you are from Africa, it's so long ago, it don't even really matter other than on a DNA level because you don't have no history of it. Right. So that's in the Akashic records, let's say that. But you don't have physical proof or evidence of such at this moment in your hand that you could say, this is why I say our people was based on this, that, and the third. With that, I yield.
Okay. Because Brother Tad talked about going to Ghana, and hopefully Sister Brooke go one day.
Because Ethiopia too.
We might have to take her together because one of us, you gonna have to hold her up, and I'm gonna have to keep her out of jail. So
you don't want to go to jail in Ghana.
No, because
I heard they jail is jail. I drove past it. I heard they jail.
You don't want to go to jail anywhere.
Right.
Facts,
but I mean, New York, you choose what you want to eat, and if you go upstate, you can make a dinner. You can make some steak, burgers.
Yeah. But check this out.
Get that. We get it.
Because now, Kwame Nkrumah, right, got his education at Howard University, yes?
Yes, one of the places, because he went to a couple of schools here, right?
Yeah, he went to Lincoln, too. I think he graduated from Lincoln.
Right. So he understood clearly because he talked about it, the Black American experience and how he equated, with some of the things he saw in Ghana and what he wanted to do, right? I'm just paraphrasing off of letters that he wrote Malcolm, that he wrote Martin Luther King and others, because we read them on this platform before. Okay, so I'm just paraphrasing. However, when Ghana got its independence, now, keep in mind, he went to school here. He said he understood the experience. Why didn't he make it so that any Black American who touched the soil automatically gets citizenship? With no fee, no penalties, no, you don't got to have this, that, and the third. Why didn't he make it so where, I don't know. I just have these questions. I got questions, that's all. So I want to know. But again, Ain't nobody got our backs. Nobody. To be totally transparent. Because I think I showed, excuse me, Brother Tad, did I show it to you or somebody? Yes, I did. To you, Sister Katasha, Brother EJ, a 1969 article.
Yes, I read it today. Yes.
Okay, with one of the heads of state of Kenya. I'm gonna try to find that. Because I want y'all to understand that. Let me go to my emails. That's where it is.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to understand that even back then, this was the climate for us. You know, nobody was looking out for black folks. And in fact, you know, when you look at some of their writings, they said, and I quote, the only comparison we have is color. And we should leave it there. We should leave it there. That's what was said. So anyway, I'm gonna pull this up because I don't know I'll find it. Why don't play it?
Hey, Sister Keisha, I want to
Go
answer
ahead,
your
my
question
brother.
if you will allow me to.
Go ahead.
As far as Kwame Nkrumah trying to make Ghana a state where we could repatriate, you got to remember, he was real. He wasn't one of these African leaders that's all right, you know, he's doing stuff for his people, but he's still getting money on the take. He wasn't that. He was just straight up African that considered us brothers, not cousins, not distant relatives of some sort. And
Right.
how they messed with him when he was president, because it's like him being the Trump of Ghana at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Like how, regardless of whether you love Trump or whatever, he get it in the news, and that was his first entity he attacked as president. Where he called that dude on the Univision fake news and get out of here and stuff like that. And then the guy got put out of that because he was asking a question out of turn. So the point I'm making is, with all that said, he was being messed with on many levels. I've read his autobiography in Atlanta and a documentary when I was living in Ghana, and I got a deeper understanding of what this man was about. He was the realist.
Yeah.
He was like Khalid, real,
In
like that.
fact,
You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
in fact, when they destroyed the statue, they took the head. To your point, how he was hated,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a coup, and they destroyed the statue and took the head.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody returned it like years and years later, might even been decades, that they returned the head. And they chose not to put it back because they wanted to keep the history as authentic as possible and tell the story of how some people just didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what Black is saying.
hey,
Yep.
hey,
And I
so
forgot
what
what I said to you.
But go ahead, Black. Go ahead.
Dwight Dorsey is saying, but we ain't tribal. We greet each other as brothers, not cousins. Brother, I lived in Ghana. I'm talking experience, and as well, other people experiences through documentaries and books. So I'm not telling you wrong or what have you, but there is some separation here and there. And like us on this panel, whether we foreign born, whether we born in the soil of other parents, foreign born, or whether we foundational Black Americans, we the realists, and we got to stick together. So when I say that, it's not to separate any African. It's the Africans that already separated themselves from us. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about how we greet each other, because if a blood cousin of mine is my blood cousin, he's my cousin. But in the spirit, that's my brother. That's my dude. That's the point we're trying to make. We're not getting into titles.
Yeah, no, I think he agrees with that, because then he put up another post. And shout out to you, Dwight. Good looking for chiming in and adding on. Definitely. And I agree, because there's another comment he said, New York has its own culture, Chicago, New Orleans, Los Angeles, which is true. And we all are brothers and sisters over here, you know. And that's the thing, when we talk about culture, when we talk about identity, I think this day and age, right, everybody is literally divisive. I think Black people in America has been the only ones trying to unify with everybody. And in this a quarter of a century into this new millennium, we tired. We give
You know
up.
why I say all this? It's even
I'm very
beyond.
tired. I'm beyond tired. I'm beyond tired because, like I said, hold on, I've been in this
Yeah.
body, spirit, and money. Now I match anybody's wallet to what I contributed in this game. So don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. And you know, like Cinnamon Reed, I hope I'm saying that right.
Cimarron.
Cimarron Reed. Sorry, Cimarron Reed. He said, I think he met Kwame Nkrumah, was surely overthrown. This is the problem. We jump to false conclusions. He wanted Dr. Clark to be part of his government. Who the hell said we jumped to any conclusions? I said there was no platform for us to come home. When he came home, he was educated here. He knew the struggle here. He talked about it. Like Gandhi said, and they don't get it. They're not getting it. Victors in war control the battle, or should control the battle. You have no victor in your war. Now, going back to what Sister Brooks said, because we like to romanticize stuff, and I'm not into that. I'm into fact and history only. Evidence, proof. That's what I'm into. We cannot negate this point that there was slave markets not conducive with the European traders of their own. We like to, I tell you, Dr. Amos Wilson was 100. Y'all keep with that feel-good history if you want to. That's why we can't go nowhere. You have to always, you ask any military general, and they will tell you always study the losses better than you do the victories. We keep losing because we keep playing this circle game. There is no code of conduct in any Pan-Africanist movement. None. Not even in Garvey's. And I can prove it. I can prove it. Marcus Messiah Garvey himself was a staunch Pan-Africanist in spirit, but there is a romanticized nature about Garvey that we have to deal with. Garvey didn't ingenious this by himself. Garvey was a pupil of Booker T. Washington. This is a fact. He was in awe of Booker T. Washington. In fact, he modeled UNIA on its principles. We have to deal with what is, not what makes us feel good. Pan-Africanism is flawed. We cannot unify until it's fixed. We are cleaning up our house. Now we need the diaspora to clean up your house. See some of you doing it on these social media platforms, checking your peoples on their behavior. As you should. Now ask yourselves, those of you who come from other lands or who family come from other lands, how many of you checked your families and your communities? Not recently, from the beginning. He was. Either that or you can't read. You can't read. Fact. In fact, what is the name of Dr. Tareen Wright's book? What's the name of her book? The title. Hold on. I don't know the title, but hold on. 'Cause I'm
Booker
quick.
T. Washington, The Making of a Pan-African.
Thank you. What's the title? Sister Marcia, say it for this dude over here.
Booker
What
T.
is the title?
Washington, The Making of a Pan-Africanism.
Thank you.
Pan-Africanism.
Thank you. Go read a book before you tell me anything, sir. Now, moving on. When you look at what's happening with a pushback, look at politics. Let's take New York. We live in New York. We from New York, I should say. All of us on the panel, right? We from New York. There are many from the diaspora who have been elected to serve in public office, in city council, as lieutenant governor, in the mayor's office, in the New York State Assembly, in New York State Congress, New York State Senate. Every last one of them voted against policies we wanted. Every last one of them. Not some, all of them. So that is problematic. That is a problem, and it has to be dealt with. We can't continue to play this circle game. Who cares? Anyway, Sister Brooks says, stop calling on the ancestors that sold you. It's calling the folks that sold you. Excuse me, this is why we are not getting nowhere. Call and remember those who fought for you here. This is why now shit is, yeah, that's why. That's why. There was no house cleaning. Now you're getting a house cleaning. And people don't like it because they've been allowed to run all nilly-nilly all over the place. We ain't doing that no more. Now, moving on. Somebody sent me this 1969 Ebony magazine article with a Kenyan head of state. He says, I do not believe it is right to make this kind of automatic citizenship arrangement. The American Negroes have as much right in the United States as white Americans. That's what he said. They should not accept defeat in their struggle for civil rights. Rather, we should join them in fighting for their civil rights. Kenyans have never contributed to the concept of an independence of Africa. Excuse me, let me go back. Kenyans have never contributed to the concept of a back to Africa movement. The independence of Africa must be based on an outward-looking policy. Africans must go out and influence the world in international related affairs. They must not agree to be isolated and confined to African affairs. As cousins of Africans, somebody mentioned we ain't each other's cousins. I'm just going by what he said. Negroes would prove to be, a useful group in promoting an outward policy right in the United States. Who would prove to be a useful group in promoting an outward policy in the United States? He didn't say the Caribbean. They could influence American policy into coming into line with its thinking on such subjects as race in the world, peace, poverty, and the production and distribution of food. The American Negro who comes here has only one thing in common with Kenyans: his color. Beyond that, he will be in a totally foreign and strange community, a strange culture, strange habits, strange attitudes of mind. Our attitude should not be misunderstood. We do not suggest that those who wish to contribute to Kenya may not do so. We need teachers, we need engineers, we are recruiting businessmen, financial institutions, etc. The American Negro can find active and positive responses in Africa. There is a scope here for real contribution, and we will be happy to receive them on this basis. On what basis? What you can do for them. They will not only be welcome, but would find it easier to adapt and identify with Kenyans than Europeans. But I must qualify identity and adapt. Not be as you are, as they do when they come here. They be as they are when they come here. There was no stipulations. There was no need to adapt. They form their own communities, live amongst each other, and isolate everybody else. It's just fact. Of course, it is open to the individual, black or white, to qualify for citizenship under our Constitution. To that extent, Negroes could apply for citizenship in the normal way, but I feel they might be disappointed. And so would we, if such moves were based on purely racial sentiment. Y'all better stop playing with me. I might here add, I find sometimes there is a complete misunderstanding of what African culture really means. For example, some people think to identify as African, one has to wear some cheap Japanese or Hong Kong made textiles, wear shaggy beard or a piece of cloth or skin on their head, or to wear one's hair natural. There are conditions imposed on Africans today by the circumstances of poverty, limitations in technical and educational and other resources. These must not be confused with culture. We're different.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing. But don't impede on my difference. That's the
You know-
problem. An African walks barefoot or wears sandals made of old tires, not because of his culture, but because he lives in poverty. He lives in mud or wattle hut. But these are signs of poverty, which must not be mistaken for cultural heritage. But when you see people living in poverty here, Black Americans, you say they're lazy. That kind of connotation is not the same when speaking about one's own. Okay?
Yep.
Culture is something much deeper. It is the total sum of your personality, outlook, and attitude on life. Outside of this, there are great areas for contact, cooperation, and collaboration between African states and Negroes. In the field of professions, and in technical employment, they are welcome. What you can do for me, as are the Europeans who come on a temporary basis to establish institutions, businesses, to make investments. That's how they see you, on the same level as the European. It's right here in black and white. It's not total rejection. We have several doctors, a number of teachers, a few businessmen here who are Negroes, but some of them have become citizens. The American Negro is welcome as a visitor. Our policy is not to encourage mass Negro immigration. What do you say? Our policy is not to encourage mass Negro immigration, leaving their problems of civil rights in the United States to be solved by someone else. Africa's role is to help them in that struggle, not help them run away from it. As Africans who come in this country, how many are helping? See, I stand on fact. Don't play with my research game. Don't do it to yourself, because you will lose. You will lose. Now, when people come here, when our folks come here, It's not the same. You are brother. You know, when Patrick Dorsman got laid down, we was all there. When what's the Haitian brother? They got
Abner Louima.
we was there. All hands on deck. When Amadou Diallo got blazed out, all hands on deck.
I was there. I'm from the Bronx. I was there a few times.
It's not the same. And that's why the game is changed. And until it becomes the same, there can never be unity. I'm telling you this. This is how organizations get infiltrated and dismantled. Now, who was the right hand of Garvey that brought him to his knees? I'm going to let y'all go and read and research that, okay? Okay? Now, I've been to the island of Jamaica and I visited every parish. I can go by bus to every parish. None of them, not even the one he was born in, honors him the way that we do. Garvey himself. Y'all better stop playing with me.
Shout out to
I'm gonna get off my soapbox, brother Tag, because I can go way left with this, and we didn't even get into our politics. But
Shout out
W and the rest of these fools that's out here acting a fool.
Nah, I'm loving it, right? Because we got to say some of this sauce for when
we going in
while we shift gears. And again, like I said, I met some beautiful people in the movement, and and I'll be honest with you, in this big age of 50 plus years old, that's all I'm looking for is good folks, because we done ran into the charlatans, we done ran into the camera hogs, the mic hogs, the money hogs, the women hogs. We ran into them all.
Mm-hmm.
But shit still ain't, and my grandmother say, shit still ain't get dead. And shit get dead. Everybody ran outside and shit got dead in this house.
Facts.
And we gotta, and really, like I said, we a quarter of a century into the new millennium.
Yes.
Like, let that marinate. We talk about 1800s, 1700s, 1960s, 1920s, and we still trying to use these same strategies that are not working for us. That's not working for us. But meanwhile, we see other groups come right in, one aim, one goal, one destiny. They on it. Whether it's the migrants, whether it's the Mexicans in California. Look, the vice mayor of California, one of them cities in California, who's Mexican, was telling her Mexican gang members, yo, y'all get active. She called out, yo, 18th Street, what y'all doing? Run down on these cholos, run down on these fools. Essay? Like, however they talk, I don't know, I ain't Mexican. But I see the unity in that. Us, we want to constantly argue about this, that, and the third, and we really don't care about your ideology. Like, we have a problem ahead of us. Can we resolve the problem? And that's why we choosing delineation, because we thought skin folk were kinfolk. And like you said, only thing we really got in common is the color of our skin. That's it. But when you peel back the layers, that's a European paradigm to really say that all black people are the same, because we are not. Just like all Europeans are not the same. But we don't get that white racists had lumped us all in. You see one black person, you see them all. They're all the same. And that's why they created Jim Crow laws and the likes. And we have to stop saying, yo, I'm for whoever's black. I'm for whoever's black. Because everybody ain't for you. So we really, really, really got to get mindful. And as a community, deal with the problems that lies ahead of us, because we voted for non-FBA people just on the strength of they were black, thinking that they would help us tackle the problem that lies ahead. But as soon as they got in position, They just turned their backs on us and helped exacerbate the problem we was dealing with. So we're stepping back. All
So
kinfolk.
does it hurt more when um a non-FBA person does it, or when an FBA person does it? Because
FBA people don't do it. That's the thing.
Eric Adams,
Eric Adams, what?
Yeah.
this is the question.
No, you said a name, but there was no question. Well, unless
No,
I missed it. I'm sorry.
Is Eric Adams FBA or not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't know that question.
I did.
Eric Adams is a sellout.
Okay.
We clear. I mean,
So-
we
But
listen.
does it,
Hold on.
Question.
Black Americans have always called out our traitors. Always.
oh, okay. Then I ain't got nothing else to ask then.
Come on, brother Black. You know that. We always called out our traitors. We always called them out.
Right.
I love that book by Griff, the
Now
certified
we calling out
book.
everybody else. Now we call them out by name.
Right.
So, speaking of which, you got Damian Williams and Zoran Kwame Mamdani. Damian Williams, for those who don't know, was the Southern District of New York prosecutor. Damian Williams, well, we're going to get into it. But all of a sudden, there's an uproar and, people are interested in this Zoran Mandadi dude, who is a Ugandan Indian Muslim. That's a lot.
I ain't never heard of that.
Another African American.
He is he applied as an African American, got his Colombian education. His mother, I believe, is the producer or director of Mississippi Masala. He was in Uganda making rap songs with Ugandans, cosplaying culture to gain favor. This dude promises a whole lot of nothing. Typical of his kind. I don't know. There is a particular behavioral trait with Indians, East Indians, if you will. They always try to overcompensate. They laugh harder than anybody else. They just because they so awkward. They are socially awkward people. This is just a fact. But now, everybody's talking about this guy who came out of nowhere from the New York State Assembly in Queens. Queens, I question your sanity. I question it, but we're going to start with...
Leave our sister Marcia alone.
I love Marcia. She know that.
Brooklyn is the only planet in the whole New York City, Brother Tad.
Thank you, Black. Thank you, on this side of the galaxy. But Damian Williams, for those of you who don't know, was born in 1980 in Brooklyn, raised in Atlanta, son of Jamaican immigrants, Westmoreland Parish to be exact. His parents met at Howard University. He has a brother and is married to Jennifer Wynn. For those who don't know Jennifer Wynn, she is Black. But anyway, she was close with the Obama administration. We'll get into that. You got 2 kids. This is all his collegiate accolades, But I want to move on. Because some of y'all might know this dude, might not know what his dude is involved in or have done. His legal career, he was law clerk for Judge Merrick Garland, who is D.C. Circuit Judge, Justice John Paul Stevens, Supreme Court. He joined Paul Weiss in 2009 as an associate, transitioned to the Southern District of New York in 2012, and is awesome. Okay? He became the chief Southern District of New York Securities and Commodities Frauds Task Force, appointed by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York by Joe Biden. Joe Biden appointed a lot of immigrant Blacks. but built his career on foundational Black American voters. Let that sit in for a while. There's so much betrayal that has been going on. He chaired the Department of Justice Attorney General's Advisory Committee. His major cases, let's get into it. Prosecuted high-profile cases included Chris Collins on insider trading, politician Sheldon Silver on political corruption, Bob Menendez on fraud, Bankman-Fried, on fraud, on crypto fraud, Bill Wong, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Eric Adams with bribery. Resigned in December 2024 ahead of Trump inauguration because he knew Trump was coming. So he resigned. So if you want to know who brought all the charges against everybody, it's this guy. It's this guy. Okay? New York business elite perspective. Known for precision, diligence, and strategic acumen. Colleagues praise his leadership and fair by assertive prosecution style. He's respected across defense and business circles. Ted Wells calls him incisive and hard but fair. Crane's Financial, y'all know that's one of my favorite reads, notes his unflashy yet ambitious approach. Diddy and other high-profile cases. Indicted on federal charges, that is Diddy, federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges that did not stick. Southern District of New York brought substantial allegations. Eric Adams, multiple federal corruption probe led by Southern District of New York under Williams, culminating in a bribery indictment. Williams' team also secured conviction of Bob Menendez, Sam Bankman-Fried, Wang, and oversaw investigations targeting Giuliani, Brian Benjamin, and others. This man, mark my words, will run for governor. I wanted y'all to have a little bit of insight as to who was the person that brought up all these charges, where he come from, who he is. You do your own research, find out who finances him. That'll tell you everything. That's your homework assignment. And the easiest way to find out such things, who finances any and all politicians? OpenSecrets.org. You will find out all dark money, soft money, organization money, business money, every red cent that goes to any politician. You will find it on OpenSecrets.org. All right? Thank you for that later. Mandani, background in education, born October 1891. In Kampala, Uganda, of Indian and Ugandan ancestry. Immigrated to South Africa at the age of 5 and to New York City at the age of 7. Graduated from Bronx High School of Science, earned a bachelor's in Africana Studies from Bowdoin College. Background in education, well, I think we read that. I think I put that in there twice. That's bad, Keisha. All right. 2025 mayoral campaign. Declared mayoral bid in October of 2024. Became Democratic nominee in June of 2025, defeating Andrew Cuomo. Platform includes fair, free buses, public child care, city-owned groceries, rent freezes, $30 minimum wage by 2030, and taxing millionaires with a strong stance on Palestine. You know, I find it very interesting that these people who come from all of these other walks of life got so many answers for us here, but ain't got shit for back home. No, what he's telling you is wrong. It's illegal. You cannot freeze people's rent and not pay landlords. So if you freeze the rent, sir, who's going to pay the landlords? Is it coming out of my tax dollars or yours? Is it coming from my coffers or yours? Because that's a problem. And it's illegal. The other thing he talked about was free city buses. A lot of people get on the bus now and don't pay. Why should it be free? Tell me why it should be free. I just want to know. I'm not saying it's wrong or not. Why should it be free? And who's going to pay, while that's being free, who's going to pay for the bus drivers? Are my taxes going up? Is my water bill going to go up? So that, y'all can do what y'all want to do and play this game? Come on, y'all. Stop playing. Knock it off. I see people doing now. I can't wait till they start putting y'all in handcuffs because it's coming. People just get on the bus, don't pay. So the rest of us who are paying is carrying your load too. That's some freeloading stuff. You're a freeloader. Okay? City-owned groceries. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want the government in my food. And he can't do that anyway. Let me explain to you how it works. The city council has more power and autonomy than any mayor. Anything he wants in a budget must be approved by the city council, and that will not fly. We already get increases on the MTA. So now I should pay more, right? When the freezes happened during COVID, some of our taxes went up after. Ain't nobody sent me a check saying thank you because my rent was on hold. Nobody sent me a dime. So, Sister Marcia, because you live in New York, what are your thoughts on Mr. Mondami, or whatever the hell his name is?
Bankrupting New York, killing New York, $30. What is it? $30 hourly wages.
$30 minimum wage by 2030.
Yeah. What happens to everyone else? What happens to everyone else? What does that mean for someone who has a doctorate, who struggled for years to get up to 30? And now you're telling me that a 14-year-old is going to have $30? Then you want to freeze rent? At $30, you're going to freeze rent. How much is housing going to be? The cost of inflation that's going to happen in New York City, should this man go through, would be ridiculous. Everyone will flee New York, and maybe that's the end goal. Maybe that's the end goal, that they don't want anyone in New York. That they're going to bring...
The end goal is what I think Brother Black has mentioned over here before, is that this is the easiest way to move into a cashless society, number one, and then that puts government in control of your resources. Because the business community or the business elite ain't fine with the BS.
1904. This is George Orwell's book. This is what would play out.
True. I forgot about that, sis.
Just a guy who cares about New York and is going to make their lives better with free buses and the rest of his agenda. Your thoughts?
Well, I did hear his comments and I respect them, but I, of course, don't agree with them at all. There's a reason that these young people in New York are despondent and looking for relief. New York is in economic collapse because of policies like these that were put in previously, and now even accelerated or magnified with what he's proposing. the problem New York has, just pragmatically speaking, what this mayor has is the states, this is put in place by the founding fathers, compete with each other for capital and ideas and tax rates and policy. And New York is at the bottom of the barrel on all of those. And so quietly, wealthy people who pay all the taxes are leaving New York and going to states like Tennessee, Florida, Texas. They still keep their residences in New York, but they only live there 6 months less a day by the billions of dollars, billions of dollars. And then developers like me, I'm just one, when we choose to put work or money to work, sovereign wealth funds, we quietly fly over New York. New York should be competing right now in AI because it has low cost power behind Niagara Falls. But quietly, we don't put money there because of policy like this and politicians like this, because we can do it with much less risk in North Dakota, West Virginia, Virginia, Texas, Mississippi, Texas, you name it. So quietly, all this money by the billions is leaving. And so the only thing you can do to people who can't find meaningful jobs with politicians like him and AOC and all the rest of it is say, give me free stuff. Give me free bus rides. Give me free subway. Give me free food. Don't make me work, just like we did in the Soviet Union and in North Korea. Well, we know how that ends very, very badly. And I think that's going to happen in New York, a slow decay of economic wealth.
He's
Your thoughts, panel, on what the business elite is talking about. Because on a personal level, we all have known people who have left New York, plenty, and they can't wait to get out of here. I'm one of them.
I'm already one.
It's 100% true, because you can't truly run a good business. And, we could see this from the 70s when the factories left New York, right? There was no incentive. So now, if we look long history of New York City, the incentives of having manufacturing or big tech businesses here is not for the business owner. If you're a small business owner, it works out for you because you have low usage. But if you're a big business, it doesn't come at $30. Now at $30, I think it was bad when it came up to 15 some years back. It was difficult for them. But if it's at 30, double that price, man, New York's for the hills.
Well, this has been a plan since Giuliani was in office. I can remember reading a document saying that they were going to make New York for the rich people. Because if you're talking about making minimum wage $30, what, within the next 5 years, we're talking about?
But this wouldn't be for the rich people either.
No, it's not going to be because minimum wage is for the poor people. But now you're talking about hyperinflation, because now how do the people who are already making 30 plus, how do they compete with, with people who are qualified, like y'all saying? People who are educated, people who have skills. So now all I need is a GED, or I could be a high school dropout, go work at McDonald's, Wendy's, Shake Shack, make $30 an hour. It's yeah, we see the decline, and this is why it's important that we get involved in politics. Because what Sister Keisha said is important, that the city council do have more power than the mayor. Because what people don't know is the city council actually runs the budget. New York has the fourth largest budget in the United States, only to be beaten by New York State, the federal budget, in California. So you have a lot of money. This is why you see the gentrification, the mass influx of people from around the world, not just North Dakota, South Dakota, and any other Dakota you want to name, where we wondering where all the Wazungus are coming from, because they came here with a strategy. Meanwhile, as we were talking earlier, we're in these movements, and we're activists and all this, that, and the third, but we're not organizing to seize the system's purse. See, we had our opportunity in the 90s, but everybody wanted shea butter and dashikis, as opposed to really get a hold of the money. Because what do we say? Money's not everything. We curse it, talk about all the capitalist society, capitalism. I don't know where you going where money don't talks.
You
Whether you
know
go
who taught us to chase money? The preachers. Creflo, Dollar.
taught us to chase money.
Yeah, that's
Well,
where
it's
that's
not even
where
about
it
chasing money.
became.
It's the relationship as black people, what we have with money. See, we keep
They
saying
taught us to buy with money.
no, they ain't teach us nothing about money, and that's where we
No,
up at.
I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is that they taught us that if you have the Mercedes, the luxury items, that's what money can give you, not to build with currency. They didn't teach us, like you said, Brother Tad, they didn't teach us anything. But in their visual standings, oh, I have a jet. Oh, I have a big mansion. So you see that I have money. This is what I have to get versus I'm building this, school for all the people to go to. I'm building this, I'm building that. We are building X, Y, and Z.
Right. I don't want to move far from my point, and I agree with you because one thing I know is ops gonna be the ops. So if they can fool you, that's their job. You fall for it, that's your bad. What I'm talking about is those of us within our own movement / community that want to be thought leaders, take leadership positions, but taking us to where? And that's what I'm talking about. People wanting you to convert to their ideology and things like that. Meanwhile, we're telling people that we need to organize and seize the money, get behind our folks. When Sister Keisha and Brother Mike was running, all of these pro-black organizations didn't give the full support because it's a favoritism game that we like to play. And then when we're divided and shit falls apart, then we want to start pointing the fingers at each other. But you point the finger, 3 back at you. Point a finger, 3 back at you. When do we start taking personal accountability? Because I hear what you're saying, Sister Marcia, but these are the conversations. Once we know better, we have to do better. And we start with our children, we start with the people in our immediate group, and then let our success be the reflection. And then people gonna be like, oh, what you doing? I need to rock with y'all. What y'all doing over there? But no, you got a bunch of dusties who keep putting this frequency out in the universe to curse money. See, we have a bad relationship with money. It ain't black folks don't got money, black Americans. Let's just talk to our people real quick because we all like to say, yeah, black people aggregate their money. We be the 10th richest nation in the world. Yeah, that's good, right? That's good if we aggregate our money. But what do? We have poor ideas and poor spending habits. That's what keep us poor. It's not we don't have the money. I work in the welfare center. See people coming in with $500 outfits, $1,000 phones. It's not you don't have the money. It's you don't have your priorities in place. Look at somebody with a bunch of tattoos. How many homeless people you see with a bunch of tattoos? There's a few, right? A bunch of people bugged out. But do you know how much a tattoo costs? Anywhere from $500 to $1,500 just to get your arm done. So you got money for this, but you look like you can't afford a bar of soap. Our priorities is twisted. And those of us in leadership are not changing the conversation or the paradigm because we keep pointing at the ops, saying the ops doing this. The ops are supposed to be ops. What are you doing as a team? How are you organizing a team as a quote unquote coach? Talking about, yo, he keeps slam dunking the ball. That's what he's supposed to do. He's the opponent. You have to come up with a strategy. So we crying about losing New York, right? I mean, New York is already lost. We done lost it. But when we find the next spot, what do we do? And that's the thing. We always trying to find a new hot spot instead of going somewhere else, building a spot. I'm going to pass the mic after I say this. Tulsa, Oklahoma. They moved black folks to Oklahoma thinking they can't till the land, thinking, it's barren land out there. Ain't nothing out there. Black folks went out there and built a booming, thriving community.
Found oil.
And found oil, surrounded by poor white towns who was jealous, burnt it down, but we never talk about how they rebuilt it and built it back up. That's why the conversation that did the civil rights help us. It's always up and down. On the scale, we got to weigh the pros and cons, but we don't, because as Sister Keisha said, we like the feel good history. I've lived in New York all of my life. 50 something years I've lived here. I can remember when Bed-Stuy had tons of black businesses, and I'm not talking about shoe shine and repair tire
Lawyers, insurance companies, all that.
companies. Yes, Marriott had
Barbershops, yeah, right.
all of that.
Accountants.
We had it all. But then we keep falling for the ops tricks. And then now we get new ops that ain't even from the soil, that just see an economic opportunity and say, oh, these folks over here ain't taking advantage, because we born into the illusion of conclusion. And we got to realize, as foundational Black Americans, which we are, some of us, we in this by ourselves. I'm not knocking nobody for trying to get in a better position. By no means, migrants, you supposed to go where the water is. You thirsty, go where the water is. You broke, go where the money is. You supposed to do that. But here, I can't sit on top of the well talking about I'm thirsty, and I'm sitting on a goddamn well that my grandfather done built, and my great grandfather done tapped into the line. Nah, we really got to lean into who we are, tap into our greatness, and stop complaining and crying all the time. So everybody's mad because FBA are now getting in line, because one thing we keep forgetting is that when we talked reparations about 50 years ago or something like that, we also talked about taking over the black belt of America, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, the Carolinas, and the likes. We asked for that at one point as part of our reparation plan. A lot of black folks don't remember that because they really didn't study. A lot of us don't study because we YouTube scholars now. We don't have books in our cache. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that as we get moved in or out of these major cities, we got to move with purpose and a plan, and we got to seize the treasure chest. Last point, I was in a meeting years ago, and I watched how the alphabet community brought somebody in from Boston to run for city council. They financed him. He ran for city council. He won. He gets to now tap into the money that's allocated for New Yorkers, though he was from Boston or something. I know he's from Massachusetts, definitely. It might have been Boston. But I said, wow, they got a real strategy. So now that they supported him and he won, these the alphabet folks now. These are alphabet folks. They supported him. He won. He started pledging all of this money towards them. So we wonder why they get what they want, because they organize with strategy. Where's the LGBTQIA plus homeland? Where's their country? What state they have? They have
They
none.
can't have no state or country because they'll be dead in a few years.
They had an idea. They had an idea and they moved on it until they got results. That's what we got to do. As soon as we hit a little hiccup, we just want to give up. And then blame, oh man, this such and such. And we don't identify the charlatans. Too many charlatans. And there's no consequences. We got to go back to the days that, I don't want to say hands and feet, but there do got to be consequences for betraying us.
It's coming, Tad. It's coming.
Because they done sold New York out. A studio apartment in my neighborhood is $3,000.
Jesus Christ.
A studio apartment is $3,000. A 2-bedroom in my building, where I'm at recording live right now from Bedford-Stuyvesant, the livest one. They got a 2-3 bedroom apartment upstairs for 1.5. 1.6, my bad. $1.6 million in the hood. We ain't even got no rooftop.
Jesus.
We ain't got no rooftop. We ain't got no pool. You definitely ain't got no parking.
I tell you. But, it's you mentioned the $30 an hour thing, right? And, people don't like those type of jobs and things of that nature. Let's listen to the CEO of Lowe's, right? Talk about that. Anyway, his name is Marvin Ellison, for those who don't know. But anyway, he's going to talk about AI's impact and where young people need to stay at, particularly Gen Z, who are facing an uphill battle with slow hiring and, being recent graduates. So let's hear this clip and then we'll come back and we'll get ready to close out.
Even in my environment with 1,700 plus stores and over 300,000 employees, when young people come to me and they desire to work in the corporate office, my advice to them: stay as close to the cash register as you can.
That's right. That's right.
Which means stay in the stores, stay close to the customers, because you will always have employment opportunities to grow, because we sometimes aspire for things based on perception, not on the reality of opportunity. And the statistics bear out that there's incredible career growth opportunities, incredible earning potential, and the opportunity is going to be significant. And I also think, quite candidly, with the emergence of modern technology, whether it's large language models, AI, and all the other next level innovations that we don't even understand yet, these jobs are going to be more in demand and more available, because technology will supplement some of the corporate jobs that people aspire to over the last couple of decades. But these jobs will be jobs that will be required, that technology, as I mentioned earlier, just will not have the ability to solve as quickly and as efficiently. Even in my environment with 1,700 plus stores and over 300,000 employees, when young people come to me and they desire to work in the corporate office, my advice to them: stay as close to the cash register as
just some insight, because, and a lot of you, you see what's happening with AI, and some of you are still lost in the sauce. Some of you are still lost in the sauce. I want to say something because before we close out, because, history is something else, boy. The great Congresswoman Barbara Jordan warned us on immigration. Some people may believe gentrification is the problem, but immigration is the first problem of the destruction of Black communities. Dr. Claude Anderson said it, and now we're going to go back to 1995 when Barbara Jordan said it. Here we go.
Is not a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to everyone anywhere in the world who thinks they want to come to the United States. Immigration is a privilege. It is a privilege granted by the people of the United States to those we choose to admit. Many American workers do not have adequate job prospects. We should make their task easier to find employment, not harder.
Hi, this is Jeremy at Numbers USA. There are two fundamental parts about immigration policy that anybody has to answer. How many and which ones? How many people do we let into the country, and who are they? And nobody in the last 60 years has done a better job at laying out a vision to answer those two questions than Barbara Jordan. And
She's right. You can't let any and everybody, a free-for-all, come up in here like the last administrations have had. Because in doing that, you cause problems economically and socially. More importantly, socially, right? Because that's where criminality comes into play. That's when criminality comes into play. And I want y'all to see this. What happened to a sister, in Ridgewood, Queens the other day by immigrants. Here we go.
But she's not the one.
Pause. That is a man. That is a man pretending to be a female.
Yeah.
And for all of you who are in support of all this equal rights, trans stuff, you're a retard. You're a retard. This is a man or male, I should say. These are two males. The one in the plaid pants, you see his mother also joining in the fray. Now, the sister said, I don't argue with men. So that ticked the tranny off, I believe. Because she kept saying it. I don't argue with men. Then they called her all kind of monkeys. So she called them an immigrant. And this is the result.
She said, boy, yo! Yo! No. Get the fuck off! Get the fuck off, man. Yo, get off!
You should turn this off, man.
That was kind of hard to watch.
So, this is what's happening. So I put out a clarion call. I put out a clarion call that we find her and that she is protected. And that she knows that her community is with her. Now I'm going to see a lot of immigrants out there. Let me see if you're really about that smoke. Or you scared ICE might see you outside. Now the dude with the cane who pulled up, he said that's a boy. Why he didn't take that cane and bust him in his forehead with it?
Word.
Alleged, this family is a problem in that community since they moved there. But y'all want to include everybody. I hope all of them catch strays in broad daylight. I hope the worst happens to them. And anybody who's siding with them, you can catch it too. Now, when I do find out who she is and I pull up on the scene and I put out on a clarion call, and especially you immigrants don't pull up, if you think what you get with FBA is bad now, wait until what happens. Because I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to call ICE on many organizations if you think I'm playing with you. Because you cannot come into our house. This sister, I believe, what is reported or said, I don't know, I haven't confirmed, that she's 21 years of age. That could be my grandchild. That could be my child. Your child. And where the trans at? Where the freaks at? Where y'all at? To say, no, we stand against this type of behavior. You never see it. Where the LGBTQ? Where y'all at? Or you too busy running down private rays butt naked, huh? And for all Black women who are in support of these mentally disturbed folks, go to the nearest wall and ram your forehead through it. All you brothers who allow this foolishness in your homes, take yourself to the nearest window and jump from it. Because this is crazy. All right, Sister Brooke just gave me an update. Tomorrow, that's tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, today's the 10th. Sorry, yeah, my calendar's here. So I'll look out for more information, but you know, this can't fly. This can't fly. And every Babalui in the city should be speaking out against this. But you ain't. That's why we delineating from you all. Brother Black said it best last week. We've been forced to delineate. Because too many of y'all have been off code for far too long. We've come to the end of our program, family. We want to get y'all up out of here. Sister Marcia's camera is having issues. I'm going to see if her mic is working. But Brother Black, your final thoughts and commentary.
Yo, sis, thank you. Heavy show. kind of still a little in that moment. Didn't like what I saw. And with that said, anyway, excuse me. A lot of seismic activity. We covered some of it with the occurrences in Texas last week. A lot of tea on that camp, that Christian camp. Allegedly, I heard through the grapevine that LBGA had his daughters there who are now in their 70s and 80s. But when they were kids in probably the 40s, 50s, and other elites were there. Now, that part of Texas is not in the flood zone. Though the banks of the Guadalupe River ebbed and flowed like crazy, it's not a flood zone. And the late T on what I'm seeing, it was a heart movement, perhaps by them to either get rid of people or perhaps by the good guys to let them know, if y'all going to use heart, we're going to use it too. I said on Tuesday's show on the podcast that I'm now on with Dr. Filet and El Pollinator, Brother Lumumba and Sister Tata, that the environment now is right for them to use HARP, whatever side you want of it. And now that all of these activities is happening everywhere in the world, who can say that it's that or it's not? But the late tea that I got on that is that it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just saying that is a very unusual place to flood to that magnitude. So with that said, there was another one in New Mexico yesterday. Chicago got aired out or flooded out, I should say. Or from what I understand, Oklahoma, places that usually places that are dry and hot usually are now flooding like they're tornadoes hitting or hurricanes hitting Florida going up the East Coast. So it's crazy right now. So no one's safe. I'm not going to take too long. I sent the book out to the person who won last week. I got another giveaway. I'm going to ask a question before the end of the show because I didn't think about it till right now. I'm going to pass the mic to Brother Tad. Hopefully Sister Marmar comes back. If not, peace and love to y'all. One love.
Before Brother Tad go in, because Sister Veronica, shout out to Sister Veronica. She said if millionaires pay 2% taxes, they already pay more than 2%. The problem is there are loopholes that give it back to them that we call set-asides and subsidies. So like I said, Sister Veronica, everybody is feeding off of us. Feeding. And I'm tired of paying. Everybody wants something for free. And the people who always ask for something for free are the ones who's always looking for it. I just wanted to bring that point out. I get what you're saying, Sister Veronica. They already pay it. They pay more than that. I know it to be factual. Okay, let me just leave it there. More than that. Some people get loopholes to get it paid back to them. And it's done by you voters who elect these politicians to enact policies so that they can get the money back. That's why I say, when you look at all of the chaos that is happening, voters are co-conspirators. You have to hold yourself accountable for what you have done. Sorry. Go ahead, Brother Tad.
I think Sister Marcia was ready.
I am. I just don't have audio. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Brother Tad. Brother Black, this was a fabulous
Audio or video? We can't see you.
Sir, if you're not listening clearly, you have to listen with your ears. That my visual has issues.
You said audio.
I think, no, audio is fine. You can hear me. You just can't see me.
But you
I
think
the biggest problem of our community is our listening skills. When it's time to work on command, people just don't understand.
Black.
Thank you, Brother Tad. Needless to say, this was a great discussion. The reading that Sister Keisha did from Thomas uh, Umbayu, whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I
Close
butchered
enough.
it. But the last statement where runaways, right? He didn't want run. He does not. His acts was not for Africans living in America to run away to Kenya from the issues of civil rights. And lo and behold, the people in his country and all other countries are running away from their issues into the United States of America, where there's the biggest problem, and they don't want to support the people of the land with their problems. That right there had me reeling. So with that, let's understand, as you know, and I'll never be ashamed to say it, my family came into this country. They came in because they said this was the land of milk and honey, and they were looking for the milk and the honey. um, Maybe that generation of boomers received the milk and honey, but their children, definitely those who are really eyes wide open, definitely understand that it's more than just milk and honey that makes a country. That part is one part, but the people and the needs of the people is what's most important. And if we're not gathering for the needs of the people, then we are of a disservice and we need to just move out the way. So if you're not for the people, move out the way, stay in your lane, stay in your corner, but don't block people that are trying to advance you, because at the end of the day you would be advanced. Don't try to blockade people because someone told you that X, Y, and Z and yada yada yada, or if you block the way you really get a blah blah blah. That's not the way to be. um my last point would be that, it's a full moon. It's time to buck on people. This is called the buck moon. So lift your shoulders up, put your fists up, do whatever you got to do, and start bucking on people that are in your way. I'm not one of them. Don't buck at me because I'll buck right back. So I bid y'all a fabulous week. If time may not flourish for you, buck on time and make it flourish for you, because it's our time to shine. With all of that, Brother Tad, Sister Keisha, thank you again, Brother Black. Knowledge. Wait, you didn't even talk about the reverse of the ocean currents, but that's for another day. Brother Tad, thank you.
Black said, "Buck that."
Hey, you talking to people from Bucktown like that?
You already
Y'all forgot that. Y'all forgot about that name, huh?
nah.
Yeah, Buckle Down, boot camp click days. Real quick, Sister Keisha, before Tag goes, I just want to ask the question. Hopefully, somebody answer it before the show ends. What are the 4 names of the 80s rap stars who are now forming a supergroup to come out in the near future? Whoever says that gets my my first book called I Ain't Perfect, but Take It From Me. I'll mail it out to you over the weekend, and you should have it in a week or so. I'll give you my contact information, and then so that you let me know when you get it, and then all I ask is you give it a review on Facebook and your social media platforms. With that said, Brother Tad.
All right, you said 480s rap, 480s. What?
Who are the 1980s rap stars who will soon be coming out as a supergroup in the near future?
I'm gonna guess it. I want the book. All right, but we definitely thank everybody for rocking out with us tonight. Hopefully you're inspired by something you heard here tonight. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. Check me out every Sunday at 2 p.m. Me and my man C Gutter, the Junior Mafia, OG Wisdom Podcast. This week, I think we're going to go on Fat Joe, a.k.a. Crack Kim, Great God Allah. Yeah, I'm convinced that he's just trolling now.
That's one guess, and you're wrong.
I'm sorry? No, he's not a guest because he's not he's not from the 80s. Thank you. Oh, but if you want my guess, I'm going to say KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, and I want to say Rakim or Slick Rick.
Wrong.
Of course, because I can't see a super
Wrong.
in the 80s. They senior citizens now. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, OGs like you. What are you talking about? Senior citizen.
Exactly. Your age group, our age group. What you talking
I'm an
about?
OG. I'm an OG. All old people ain't OG. Some of them are old goats. All right. Original greatness. All right, but we definitely want to thank y'all for rocking out. Thank y'all for tuning in. I had some pictures I wanted to show from the Essence Music Festival, but we got so deep. I wanted to talk about the trainees jumping the system because that did break my heart. And it's unfortunate that so many males in lipstick and out of lipstick stood by and watched that happen, even though the white guy, was just yelling. Yelling don't stop nobody. You need to take that cane and bust them upside their head. But that's a story for another day. Sisters, we got your back, the real ones. But you got to stop supporting these half homos. We got to. We got to get back to loving each other again. You know what I mean? Please respect me, and I won't have no problem with holding you down in the streets. But if you're gonna respect and protect people who don't respect me, I gotta look at you as an op and treat you as such. So if you want my protection, we got to be unified. Because I love y'all. My daughters are black. My mama was black. My grandmothers is black. The women I date are black. Like, I love black people. But we really got to stop this foolishness thinking we're going to get along with everybody. We have to re-examine our position, concentrate our forces, and move accordingly. And problem solve. We got to problem solve as a community. We got to problem solve. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there are always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Family, we definitely appreciate y'all. Each week we try to get you thorough. Each week we try to make you thorough over here. You got to get on code. You got to get on code. You got to know how to pivot. You can't stay stuck in 1980, 1960, 1950 with old information. Because as you see every week, I come with it. I come with that information. We're going to close out with the great Malcolm X. Brother Tad,
What's up, sis?
they trying to say Malcolm X ain't FBA.
Yeah, I heard
Because his
that.
mama from Grenada. No, this is people from the diaspora.
I heard it.
Not us.
I heard it. I know.
Just totally threw his papa out the window. But
Mr. Earl Little, who his mama loved because he was so black.
come on.
We'll let them try to rewrite history because we got to remember mama was a product of being SA'd.
Ray baby. Yeah, Ray baby.
We watch that word black because they be trying to flag
Yeah,
folks.
Our word baby. I apologize. You're right.
Yeah. So we said SA baby, so
Right.
it's not like she voluntarily was like, people always trying to rewrite our story. Yeah.
And then, we have to stand firm. Stand firm. Because the movement is not slowing down, it's growing every day. I'm so proud of my people. I'm so proud of my people.
Tired.
Finally cleaning house. Finally standing firm on something. And,
And we just getting started.
Just beginning. Because y'all ain't see the belt come off the waist yet. So, you still in the yelling phase. You ain't see the belt
Real
come
quick,
off the waist.
what it is now folks are seeing our brothers and sisters in the South who don't play that stuff. The people who are literally from the soil, like, well, hold up now, what all that Jollof stuff y'all talking about? I don't eat that stuff. I like Jollof rice, me personally. I don't know who's better, Ghanaian or Senegalese or Nigerian. That's a whole nother conversation, but I like Jollof rice personally. However, people keep forgetting that they are guests, and you can't be disrespectful when you're a guest in someone's house. But our folks from California to the bayous of the Mississippi, out to Chi-Town, two-stepping, we going to show these people who we really are, because it's funny how people cosplay our story, and then when they mans in them come around, they get the guts and the gumption to to talk real strong. But everybody's seeing the paradigm shift because you can only hide in the big cities for a little while. And we see the finances is pushing folks out anyway. And before they know it, they're going to be down in the South trying to blend in. They're like, nope, you don't fit. You can't talk that stuff down here, you know. But I love our people. I love our folks. You know, it reminds me of the last Poet song, niggas are scared of revolution. I love niggas. I love watch niggas rap. Make them plays the shit you see. There's one thing about niggas I do not love. Niggas are scared of revolution. And we not playing no more.
We ain't playing no games. But in light of our last video and that young, a child to me, if you're 21, I know she's an adult. But I'm talking, you know, she's a baby. This baby was assaulted. Another baby in Coney Island, picked up while he was walking with his parents by a migrant and thrown to the ground. I didn't even play that video.
Yeah.
A lot is happening. We on the attack. Dr. Claude Anderson was right. Everybody is attacking. But that's what happens when you're the best. And I said it. Close out with Malcolm X.
The most respected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. And the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, Brother Blythe keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly